everyone, how's everyone doing today? My name is Gina and I am doing great. So, the other day I was going through YouTube and I came across this, I want to say it was a pretty old video. I don't really remember how long ago it was. And I'm going to try to link the description down below. Because what she did was she had a technique of laying tissue paper on wooden surfaces. I'm going to back out just a tad. And making it where there's no wrinkles. Every time that I've tried to do any kind of decoupage or putting tissue paper onto a piece of wood or canvas or whatever, it always gets little wrinkles in it. Well, by watching her video, it is a lifesaver. This background, the brown background, is actually tissue paper that I created, and I put it on here, and then I painted my little Christmas mouse on top of it. Isn't it the cutest thing ever? So I'm going to probably make 3 more of these, and these will be the coasters that I'll probably put on my Etsy store. So simple, so cute. So what I wanted to do on this video is show you the technique that she showed, and also make more coasters but without the mouse on it. Okay, but we are going to kind of use some little bit of the decoupaging and the, of course, decoupaging, but the oh, what do you call this? The decorative painting. So I've already taken my pieces of wood, I sanded them, and I put 2 coats of paint on these. I sealed it first with my multiple sealer like I always do, painted it twice, painted the red and the green, and so now what I want to do is I do want to go ahead and float some color just around the edges. So I'm going to be using my avocado for the green, and I'm using black plum for the red. So I got my black plum right here. I'm just going to show you how to do this really quickly. This is just floating. Sarah from my Serenity Crafts has many videos on this, and there's a lot online, but I just run it through like that, and like I said, I'm just going to go around the edge. This is not wet enough. I could tell that was not wet enough because it's not gliding like how I want it to. I'm going to kind of walk it out to make it a little bit. So as you can see, now I have a little bit of a border there. And I'm going to do that on all sides. I'm using avocado for this one, and when I get that done, I'll be back. Okay, so they're dry, and as you see, there's just a slight border around. That's exactly what I wanted. These are the stamps that I've been using and that I'm going to use. They're from Tim Holtz. I just love them. There might be one more to this, but I don't see it on my desk, so we're not going to worry about it. But I'm using these, and also these from Tim Holtz. This came as a pack, and then these came as a pack. I got these from scrapbook.com. They were on sale. So I grabbed them. I thought they were so cute. And then the tissue paper that I'm using is this collage paper by Dina Wakley by Ranger. It's tissue paper, but to me it seems a little bit thicker than regular tissue paper. Because usually regular tissue paper is a little bit thinner than this. But it's nice. It will work. I had a theory. I had to test it out. I did it off camera. I used embossing powder up here, and I knew the technique that we're going to use. We use a hot iron, And I knew it was probably going to do this, but I just had to test it out, and sure enough, it just reheated that embossing and just made it go and be ugly. But this is this pigment ink, and I think I'm going to try to use that on what I'm going to do with this stuff. So with that said, I tried several different stamps, as you can see, like colors here, and even these colors here. So I mean, you can just keep stamping till your little heart's content. This was the one I used for the mouse, so it was this stamp right here. The oh, where did it go? The big, it was the stamp right here is the stamp that I used for the background on this one, and then I used this one for the background on that one. And I use alcohol ink, or alcohol ink, the Archival, the Ranger. I used the Tim Holtz with it as well, his Distress inks, but in the Archival ink instead of, oops, that's the wrong one, this one. Okay, so that is what I'm going to use today. So what I want to do is, I'm going at this a different way than that I tried to do with these guys. I was just trying to, I'm going to scooch out just a little bit more. I was just trying to just stamp and see, especially, this was my very first one. I mean, I just went stamp crazy, and I was like, okay, this looks crazy. This is a crazy mess. And then I went to the grays, and I was like, ugh. And then I was like, you know what, maybe brown would be better looking. And so that is what I went with in the end. So, oh, and yeah, I did it twice, the brown, just to see. So, but what I want to do, oh, and you're going to need parchment paper, or that's what this is, parchment paper. We're going to need that. And I do have a piece of foam. This is just a cheap piece of foam I got from probably Michael's. All right, so I have my paper. What I want to do first is I'm going to take this a different approach than I took it before. I'm going to do it more like it's a journal page, right? So I want to get my background on first, and usually what I do with my journals is I use the same color ink as I do my paint. So I feel like that is where I was going wrong. So what I want to do, and this is another thing that I'm going to do that I didn't do before, is I'm going to outline, I just need a pencil. I'm just going to outline how big this is. Because I feel like that was another thing, is I wasn't getting things centered enough, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and just outline this so I know where I need to stamp things. Because the composition was another thing that kind of made it a little weird for me. So, alright, so there we go. So the first one I'm going to do is over here, and I think I'm going to use the musical notes. I just love the musical notes. And I think I'm going to put that on the green one. So I'm going to use my Pilled Paint in the Archival ink. You don't want to use regular Distress Oxide or distressed inks, because when you put your matte medium over it, it will reactivate, and we don't want that. So we want it to be alcohol-based inks. I'll put it down a little bit more. Alright, now I'm not worried, just like with doing a background on my pages, I'm not going to worry too much about this part, really. Okay, so that's cool. So if we take our, it's going to meld into that. So I'm going to, over here, I'm going to do the same thing, but with this one and in red, in the red. But before, so let me do that and I'll be right back. So I should have went ahead and put the Mod Podge on before I did the stamping, but it doesn't really matter. I use matte Mod Podge, and you use 2 thin layers. That's way too much there. I do end up taking it off. Let it dry completely in between the layers. You want the stuff completely dry before you put any more Mod Podge on it, or before we do our technique. So 2 coats, dry in between. I'm showing here I use Barnyard Red for the red. And after I stamped it, I wasn't going to put a focal image in the middle of this one because I liked the way that it looked, but I felt like it needed a little bit something around in the empty spaces. So I just used these little dots from that Simon Says stamping kit, and I think it turned out really cute. I am using my white pigment ink for the green one and having the focal image. I will use my heat gun or my embossing gun to set the ink so that it does not smear. I have learned that in pigment ink you need to set it. And now we're going to the technique. I got this cute little iron off of Amazon. I think it was like $18. It works perfectly. It's the perfect size. It heats up very, very, very quickly, and it gets way hot enough. I think I only had it in the middle here, and it gets really hot. And I probably went even longer than I needed to, but I wanted to make sure that it was, you know, on there really good. And that's why we use parchment paper as well, so it doesn't burn the tissue paper. It is amazing. What is happening is you're heating up that layers of Mod Podge, but because you're using an iron, you're ironing it out, making it smooth so it doesn't wrinkle. Because normally what you do is put the tissue paper over wet Mod Podge, and that's when it all wrinkles up and goes all wrong. This is amazing. I love this technique. I will use it from now on. I really, really, really love it. Now I'm using the technique of cutting tissue paper with water. It leaves a clear border, but I think because this tissue paper is a tad bit thicker, it didn't rip as cleanly as what other tissue papers have, but it still works. It's still okay. I will end up making sure that it's dry because I got a little water onto the wood part, and then I'll just use a sanding block and quickly just and get those scraggly edges away. You could even use a fingernail file on that just to get the scrap parts of the paper, the straggly parts off of it. And then there it is. Is that not amazing? It's so cool. So I'm using matte medium to seal it. Even though I was going to put resin over it, I did not know if the resin would affect the paper or the ink in any kind of way. So I wanted to go ahead and seal it. And if you're going to paint like I put the mouse on the other one, you've definitely got to seal it because the paint has got to have something to adhere to. So I'm just making sure that I've got it all over the area, and it just works out perfectly. I love that matte medium from Liquitex. It's really good. So now I got my Nuvo, I believe this is embellishing glacier paste or something, and I've got my green and red and just went over on the edges just to give it a vintage look. I will take a paper towel and kind of smear it off. I wanted just to see what it looked like, and I really like it. I think it looks really cool. And now it is the resin pouring time, and I thought I had videotaped me mixing the resin, but apparently I did not, because again, this is the first time of me filming me doing resin, and I'm nowhere near an expert in resin, so, forgive me, please. But I did want to show you what, some of my technique that I do have. And when you pour the resin over the coaster, it does self-level, but you kind of can help it along. And I do use my embossing gun there to get the bubbles out. And then I did do some resin with the glitter already in it for the red and green one. And I'm showing me pouring that. And again, these do self level. I do have them on little cups so that they can drip off. And now an hour had passed and I went back and just around the mouse, because I only wanted glitter around him, not on him. And after an hour, it's tacky enough where the glitter will not move anywhere. If I did it beforehand, it would have gotten everywhere. It would just, because it does still move, the resin does, as it's setting. Okay, and so here they are with the resin in it, or on it, and it's so sparkly. Oh my gosh, I just love it. So here's the green one. So cool. I really, really like it. These are so pretty. And then here's my mouse. I think he turned out really cute too. I really, really like him. At first, I was a little, but the more I look at him, I think by putting the brown around him, it just kind of, I don't know, I really, really, really like him a lot. So he is super, super, super cute. So yeah, so there are cute little coasters that I still have to figure out how to do the resin work, because some of the resin didn't get right here, and this one is pretty much, you know, it's pretty nice. This one though, again, I didn't get any down here. So, and I'm not sure if it was because it wasn't level and I was trying to do all three at one time, but these would be cute for me. So I'm, you know, I'm collecting coasters, I guess, for the holidays, but I love him. And I think this is a cute set anyway. Maybe do one more mouse with the musical notes in the brown behind it, and this would be a cute set of coasters. But I can't put them on my Etsy store because they're not perfect enough for me yet, but I'm gonna keep trying. I might just need patience and well, one, you know, I'm videotaping this, so I kind of had to do all three at one time, but I think when I do these for my Etsy store, I will just do, I'm talking about the resin, I will only do one at a time. That way they're level and they will come out better. So, alright y'all, well thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you like the video, please, please, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe if you've not already subscribed. That just helps my channel to grow and I would appreciate it. Alright y'all, y'all be good to one another, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.